This is the world's best omelet. Really tender, creamy, custardy, soft center, barely set crepe-like exterior with rich demi-glace on top of a mound of savory fried rice. This is Omurice. There's so many iterations of Omurice, but at its simplest form, it's an omelet over rice. The version we're making today is a little more complicated. Made famous by chef Motokichi Yukimura and features an impossibly thin skin holding together a creamy custardy interior. Nailing these contrasting textures is all about technique and heat management. Don't worry, you don't need to quit your job, move to Japan, and be an Omurice apprentice. What I'm gonna do is walk you through the entire process of the scramble. For the release, shape, and the flip, the dismount, and we're gonna back it up. We're gonna break each step into their individual parts, all the details and all the nuances. I really wanna make sure that you feel confident and learn how to make a really, really good Omurice as quickly as possible. Before you go full send on this omelet, you wanna make sure you have everything ready on your station. We have our 3 eggs mixed and strained. We have our neutral oil that's gonna be going into the pan. We have our gas burner, and we have our pan. This one is my favorite for beginners. It has a really great shape, nice high walls that makes flipping great. Rivets are high up on the edge, so that way they don't catch on your eggs. I recommend a small silicone spatula to get started. Makes the technique a little bit easier and more manageable. For heat management in the pan, you could be using an infrared thermometer. Also, we have our damp towel. We got our plate, we got our Japanese style fried rice, hot and ready. We got our mold for our rice, and we have our demi-glace. So we got everything hot and ready. Time to get started. For this recipe, 3 large eggs. That's pretty standard for Omurice in all the videos I've seen online. Let's crack them. I just like to use a whisk. You certainly can use chopsticks if you want, because you want to make sure it's whisked up so it's like really, really fluid and there isn't any streaks of white anymore. I think it's good at the beginning, just strain your eggs. Just trying to remove as many variables as possible. So get it all through. There might be some foam that remains. That's it. From here, we're ready to heat up our pan, lock in the temperature, start making an omelet. I've zeroed in on 400 degrees Fahrenheit being the ideal temperature you want to preheat your pan to. That way when we add our eggs to the pan, they're instantly going to start sizzling. And while you're scrambling it, they're going to be setting at the same time, creating that crepe-like exterior. So gas is king in this case, and I know it can be a little tricky dialing in that temperature. So I'm gonna show you a little bit of insights and things to look out for that'll help you lock in that 400 temp before you send your eggs into the pan. If you have a gas range at home, you're already probably pretty familiar with the settings, kind of looking for low, medium heat or so here. So I'm using an Iwatani portable gas burner. So what I'm gonna be doing is adjusting to just below simmer. You can see the flame is about 1 inch long. It's like medium low. That's great. That's just what you want. Pan goes on. We're gonna put a little bit of our neutral oil in here. This is gonna take about 1 minute to preheat. You can monitor your pan temperature by using an infrared thermometer right around the edges here. That's where the flame is mostly in contact to. That's gonna be the hottest part of the pan. If you don't have an infrared thermometer, more of a classic way of checking the temperature of your pan is taking a chopstick, dipping it into your egg, and then where the oil is pooled on the side, just touch it to it. Instantly, it should start frying. That's a good sign that we're about 375, 400. Also, our oil's not smoking at this point, so we know it's not too hot. We're pretty much ready to rock. The most important part of the omelet is gonna be scrambling the eggs. This step is gonna take about 30 seconds. The goal here is you're trying to create really nice ribbony curds without having the eggs in contact with the pan for too long. We are gonna pour the eggs right into the middle. They're instantly gonna start sizzling. Then grab your spatula, you're gonna come in right about here. You're gonna be stirring for about 4 or 5 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4. Scrape the sides. You're gonna repeat this motion about 4, maybe 5 times. After about like 25 seconds or so, you're gonna take the pan and give it a firm tap. What's happening there? Everything will settle down and be fully in contact with the pan. You're gonna let it cook, sit there for anywhere from 4 to 5 seconds. That's all you need to think about for the scramble. So you've got the scramble. Next up is the release. Arguably the easiest step here, Immediately take the pan off the heat and put it right on our damp towel. That damp towel is gonna shock the pan, dropping the temperature instantly. We're gonna lift up the pan at a 45-degree angle, holding the spatula like a pencil, and we're just gonna work the spatula around this half of the pan. And boom, that's it. You've released the side and you're good to go on to the next step, which is the shaping of the omelet. So holding the pan at a 45-degree angle, the flick of the wrist, we're gonna start pushing the omelet off the side. It's gonna cause the omelet to fold over or roll over about 2/3 of the way. We'll have pooled a lot of the runny egg to one side. That's okay. That's exactly what we want. To start cooking the other side of the really thin exterior of the omelet, we're gonna put it to the side of the burner because we want the heat to be focused to this one edge. We're gonna count to 5. It's gonna cook real fast. We're gonna come back off the heat to our cool towel, just like we did in the release on the other side. We're gonna start scraping the spatula along this side. As we do that, we're gonna press and fold it back over, creating a seam along the top. At that point in time, we have it all bundled up. We're just ready to move on to the next step. All right, we're at the flip. In a lot of the videos, it's happening so fast and it's really hard to track. So I'm gonna break it down. At this point in time, we've just finished the shaping. Both of our seams are connected at the top right here. I am changing the orientation of my hand, wrist on top. I'm gonna be sliding the spatula under the end. This is the farthest point. And this isn't like you're sauteing where you're flicking your wrist. What you're actually doing here is you're gonna be lifting the pan straight up. It's a really delicate motion. So nearing the top of raising the pan, in theory, this is at the point when the omelet is at its lightest. It's still barely in contact with the pan. This is when you're gonna use your spatula to help guide the omelet over. One way you can kind of practice it a bit more is take a quart Ziploc bag and fill it with about a half cup of rice. This will give you a better idea of how fast you need to lift the pan with your non-dominant hand and how much work your hand with the spatula is actually doing at the top during the flip. Just focus on one hand, because when you're raising this up, you want the rice to be just barely in contact with the pan. So what we're gonna do here is put our spatula under this end. That way you can get a better feel for how these arms are kind of moving together. Lift one side of the rice up. Now comes the flick. So at the very top, you're just gonna gently fold it. It's a very delicate motion. So just lift it, flip it, and at that point, seams on the bottom. We're gonna return it to the heat for about 5 seconds, just to seal it all the way up. And then what we're gonna do is remove the pan from the heat, and we're gonna roll it over again. So what was the seam is facing up. That is gonna put us in the perfect position so that when we go to the rice to flip it for the dismount, now seam is down and the perfect presentation side is facing up. So it's all been building to this moment. You've perfectly cooked your eggs. You've shaped them, you've sealed them, you've flipped them. You're so close, but there's a little bit more technique here. The last part is the dismount. So we have our landing zone here. This is our plate. We have our rice mold. I like to have the rice mold facing towards 10 and 4 o'clock. It's just an ideal angle. So holding the pan, I'm gonna have the omelet rolled to the end. As the omelet is starting to roll out of the pan here, I'm using my other hand holding the spatula to catch the omelet. I'm kind of balancing it over the rice. You can also adjust it with your hand. It's quite forgiving at that point. So we've talked about it. Let's go through it and see it in action here. All right, here we go. Pan's at temp, pouring eggs into the middle. Air frying right away. Grabbing your spatula, stir, 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 stir. Scrape the sides. Stir, stir, stir. With the hand that doesn't have the spatula, I am shaking the pan. That is helping mix the curds even more. At the very end, firm tap, count to 5. That's it. Grabbing pan palm side up. This gives me a little bit more leverage right onto the damp towel. Slowing down the cook, lifting back up at a 45-degree angle. You'll start seeing some of the runny egg pull towards one side, taking your spatula and run it along the edges. The spatula, we're just gonna flick it with our wrist. We're letting the weight of the omelet do the work. Back onto the flame. Got the really runny egg there still. It's just what we want. 5 seconds here. That's gonna create and cook a thin film on the outside, creating that thin exterior. Off the heat. There we go. Fold this over, creating the seam. Let's go full send. Dismount, right over the rice, and then I have my spatula ready to catch the omelet. That's a 9.5 for me. Super proud of that. That's a good looking omu rice. Beautiful, smooth top, super shiny. It's just waiting to be cut open. It's gorgeous. That is just what you want to see for an omu rice. Falls open like a thin veil, super soft scramble, has enough body almost like an anglaise. It's a texture from an omelet that I've really never had with any other omelet in the world. It's like silky, it's fluffy, it's creamy. In a way, it's its own sauce over the rice. You know, that is a perfectly cooked omelet. The world's hardest, I would argue. Omurice, it's a beautiful thing. To me, it's the world's best omelet. It's the world's hardest omelet. So if you want to learn how to make omurice, this omelet, you want to find our recipe for the Japanese-style fried rice, the chicken demi, or you want to learn other egg dishes, a French-style omelet, tornado omelet, or a parametric on scrambled eggs, go to chefsteps.com, check out our recipes, give this omelet a try. Hope you learned something here.
Subscribe to our channel and visit chefsteps.com for more tips, recipes, guides, and tools to help you level up in the kitchen.